Hey, Ben Wise and ZOAR Fitness, and this is the name game. Workout number 32 is bound and brace. It's every 3 minutes until failure. 100 double unders and then 5 squat cleans, starting at 165 for men, 115 pounds for women, and adding 20 pounds for males, 10 pounds for females every round or every interval. You may not work ahead. So in other words, you have to rest the remainder of that 3 minutes that you have before you start your next round. Okay. Obviously you can change your weight during that rest time. That's actually something that I would make sure that you could factor into this as well. Your score is going to be your total reps. So double unders and squat cleans, right? Just the total number of reps that you're doing. So let's get into it. Movement standards. First of all, the double under, ropes got to pass under your feet twice on every jump. That's it. The rope starts on the floor, right? So you cannot actually pick that rope up for the very first interval until it actually, the buzzer goes off, it beeps, you start the workout. You can then pick up the rope and begin doing your double unders. For the squat cleans, it's got to be a squat clean. You cannot power it. That being said, it's fine if you do a thing where like you power it and then ride it out into a front squat. But you cannot do a power, stand up, and then front squat each time, right? Basically you got to squat clean it every single time. So you have to pass through parallel being, or below parallel, meaning hip crease needs to go below the top of your knee. That's the standard. So setup, pretty simple. Like you're gonna put your rope relatively close to your bar. I wouldn't put it so close where it's gonna be in your way at any point. Because the transition, you're gonna need a second to sort of recoup from the double unders unless it's like your last round, you're trying to just get a few reps in. But that being said, you're probably gonna want a little bit of time. So I don't think the setup's hugely important. The one thing that I will say is set yourself up for the next round when you actually set down your rope. So when you finish, unless you know you're not gonna get through the next one, set down your rope really pretty, make sure it's in like a nice loop, the handles are facing in, so that you can go over, step in, pick up your handles, and then get right to work, rather than having to untangle your rope in the middle of a workout. It's not good, it's not gonna make you happy. So, set your rope down. Other workout thoughts. It's really gonna come down to, for a lot of people, it's gonna come down to double under proficiency. So if you just are so bad at double unders where you can't even get through 100 in 3 minutes, I would probably scale this, okay? If I'm being realistic, I would probably just do 200 single unders in that time and then do your squat cleans. You won't be able to compare it necessarily against other people, but do a 2-for-1 scale where you're doing the double amount of single unders for doubles. So do 200 single unders and then just do your standard weights. Realize that yes, you might also want to potentially scale the weight if you're someone who already feels like 165 is very close, a high percentage of your max, and you're not gonna be able to get through, at least 2 to 3 rounds. It would probably make sense for you to scale that. But for most people, I've written it in a way where if you're pretty competitive in the sport, you should be able to at least get a few rounds in, provided that you're, again, got the movement proficiency, that it's gonna start accumulating over the course of this. If you're someone who's really strong and also aerobic and good at double unders, it's very possible that you could get through 6, 7, 8 rounds of this, right? I don't think anybody's gonna get past 8 or 9, even the elites, right? Because at that point you're up at like 325, 195, somewhere in that range, doing 5 reps every 3 minutes, including 100 double unders. That's a lot of work. I wouldn't put it past some people, but I don't think people are gonna be getting over 1,000 double unders in this workout accumulated. So, but that being said, you can certainly get several hundred accumulated pretty quickly in this workout. So double under volume, that's one thing. The squat cleans are another, right? So with the double unders, I would think about moving as quickly as you can through those double unders while not allowing that to spike your heart rate a ton. So there's really 2 options for this. For people who are a little bit higher level, I would say don't necessarily plan on breaking that, or maybe plan on breaking it like 60-40 or something, just like one quick break. But think about doing your double unders in a way that is quick, right? So jumping low and moving your hands quickly, right? So by moving your wrists really fast, what that allows for is for you to literally move like this much through space, just like 2-3 inches. And obviously, if you're not jumping more than 2-3 inches, you could probably do that for a while, right? It's not gonna spike your heart rate as much. And that's the idea here, is that you wanna move quickly through the double unders, because that means that you do not have to jump as high. Versus, and then you also get through the reps quicker. So it's like a double-edged sword of benefit in the sense that if you're doing your double unders faster, you don't have to jump as high, it keeps your heart rate lower, and you get through them quicker. So for most people, that's what I would recommend. You can also, you know, if you're someone who's just trying to get through these, right? And maybe you're not super consistent when you try to speed them up, just be consistent. When you trip, take a breath or two and then get right back to work and not allow yourself to waste a lot of time. The worst thing that you could do in a workout like this is allow yourself to get frustrated because you miss 1 or 2 and trip a couple times, and now you put yourself out of contention because you're missing a window that you normally should make. You have the strength or the skill to be able to do that. You have the capacity to do it, but you didn't make it through because you allowed yourself to get frustrated at your jump rope, right? You're going to trip, know you're gonna trip. When you trip, take a nice clearing breath or 2, and then start right back up, right? Don't allow yourself to convince yourself, number 1, that you have to take a long break, or number 2, that you're gonna not make the next window because you tripped that once or twice, right? Take a second, gather yourself, and then go again. That's how you're gonna get your best score, even regardless of, you know, how you actually perform, in terms of strength. And then another thing that I would think about is play around, do like a rehearsal round of this at the first barbell and get a pretty good sense of, okay, this is how long the 100 double unders took me with a bit of transition, with potentially a trip or 2, I could add this time. This is how much time I have left to do 5 squat cleans plus change my next round weights, right? So you need to be able to do both. I need you to change your own weights. And again, I would have the plates laid there, you know, a bunch of 5s or 10s where you can just add that on each side. So males are just adding 10 pounds a side, females are adding 10 pounds a side. Quick note, if you're someone who's in kilos, yeah, I'm gonna be honest, it's gonna be a pain. But sometimes in workouts like this, it is a pain from CrossFit HQ. So it's important that you get used to figuring out what the conversions are and being within 2 kilos of that each time you go to get that new bar. So do the math ahead of time, write down your jumps on a board because they're not gonna be nice and pretty like this. And then again, you're gonna have to figure that out on the fly, have that memorized to the point or have it written down to the point where you can do that pretty effectively. So again, that being said, you now have a rough idea of, okay, I have to do a rep every this many seconds, every 15 seconds, every 20 seconds, for example. So that being said, okay, I know I have to do my singles that often. So the last thing that I would say to think about is are you gonna do, you know, like I said, and space it out where it's every 15 seconds, every 20 seconds to do a single, or are you gonna do, you know, a single every 8 seconds at the lighter bars and then try to get a little bit more rest built into that, where you can then calm your breathing for maybe 30 seconds before the next round or something after you've changed your weight. So that's the last thing that I would think about. So that is bound and brace. So yeah, if you're a person who has not signed up for the protocol yet, if you want a free week of it to be able to trial it, go to zoarfitness.com/pro-trial to get your free week. For everybody else, good luck on bound and brace.